Welcome back. So, a little bit of news today. Keep in mind, I did a news video last night as well. Um, Today, Julius Honka is on waivers from the Dallas Stars. Not a huge surprise. They're likely looking to add him to the taxi squad. Honka, of course, was a restricted free agent for a long while. The Dallas Stars have brought him back, and we'll see how he does this year. I can't see him being taken on waivers because, again, he hasn't played in the NHL in a long time. But I do hope that he does well this year and increases his value both to the team and maybe to another team if he ends up leaving Dallas. There's also been some additional stuff coming out about the tracking pucks. So they've got these pucks that tell you, how fast the shot was going, track them around the building, and all that other wonderful stuff. And they were using them. And then last night they abruptly basically said, nope, we're done. Not giving up on them because they understand what these can mean. That this can be, for gambling purposes, tracking the player and the puck. It just makes sense. But Austin Matthews and Jason Spetz have spoken up, and I'm sure there's other players who are going to speak up about this as well, saying they realized early on this wasn't right. So taking a normal puck and taking the new tracking puck and realizing they don't quite have the same weight, they don't quite feel the same, and they don't slide. So what they were doing was that Spetz and Matthews were basically playing around on the ice with both to feel the difference between them. And Matthews says that one of the reasons he only has the one goal this year is because the other puck wasn't behaving the same, and so he was having a harder time getting the goals as a result of the puck not behaving properly. And to me, from what they were saying about it, and the fact that it doesn't slide and it's not behaving right, it's sort of like what we hear from players when we get into the warmer months, and certain buildings don't play well when it's hotter and the puck might stick more to the ice a little bit. The ice gets really choppy. It sounds like the tracking puck was doing some of that stuff all by itself while the ice conditions are pretty good. So the NHL's basically pulled those pucks. We're back to the normal ones tonight. We'll see. We'll see if scoring goes up. Scoring hasn't really been a problem for the most part. It's been pretty average from what I've seen. But I'm sure that some players were getting thrown off by the new pucks. And so we'll see if Matthews tonight gets a couple against the Oilers, which would probably make him feel better and probably validate what he's saying. The Sens, I want to talk about just a little bit this morning. It's interesting, I'm already seeing articles on how the Sens are doing well and could the Sens make the playoffs. And last night they asked the question on TSN: Can the Ottawa Senators finish in the top four in the North? I don't see them being top four material in the North, but it is that desire we have to see underdogs do well. The desire we have to see a team, overcome adversity. And what greater adversity has there been in the National Hockey League over the last 3 years than the Ottawa Senators and everything they've been through? I still don't see them necessarily as a playoff team. They're very competitive. They were competitive last year as well. They actually outperformed what was expected of them last season. So I'm not surprised that they're off to a half-decent start and that they look like they can keep up to everybody else. I do think they'll probably win a little bit more than they did last year in terms of, how many wins they get, comparatively speaking, with games played. But, yeah, I really haven't changed my expectation of the Sens. I think part of it, too, is that it's such a new lineup and there's so many new faces. That can cause problems with chemistry, but that can also cause problems for teams trying to figure out how to match up against you, especially without preseason games, without a lot of the scouting that you normally have. It definitely means there's a lot more unknowns. Now, the NWHL will be starting their bubble season in Lake Placid this weekend. So the regular season, the round-robin tournament, takes roughly a week, and then you have the playoff from there. And your winner is awarded February 5th. If you have interest in watching it, Twitch TV is twitch.tv/NWHL. You can watch all the games on there. And apparently that's global. So no matter where you are on planet Earth, as long as you've got an internet signal, you should be able to get on there. I don't know if it'll support a 14.4 modem, but if you have a 14.4 modem and you're trying to get on the internet, I'm not sure what you're trying to do right now. It's kind of offensive, though, but you already know that. So it doesn't matter because if you have a 14.4 modem, there's no way this video loaded. There's no chance. So Nobody has dial-up anymore. It's gone. It should be gone. Are you still on dial-up? You still got dial-up? It's interesting. It's interesting. Anyways, so yeah, if you want to watch the NWHL, that'll be on. I will cover it, but because of the days this is on, like Saturday, Sunday, unless there's huge cancellations in the NHL, there's NHL games on during the time of day where most of these games are being played. But I do hope for the best for the NWHL and for the support for women's hockey, because it is good hockey. I've always thought women's hockey was good hockey, and I'm talking like back to when I was in high school and the first time I watched Canada play, and that was when they wore the pink jerseys, which nobody really thought was a big deal at the time. I didn't care. Well, they're pink Team Canada jerseys, even though there's no pink in our flag. But it's interesting, and I found it entertaining, and Canada beat the hell out of everybody because that's what happens. But yeah, I thought it was good hockey, so good luck to them. Now, speaking of postponements, there's already a couple of games that apparently are being postponed. Now, if you're a Panthers fan, well, so Carolina was going to play Florida tomorrow and on Saturday, and apparently those games are being postponed. So for Florida, they'll now have 4 games in hand on what they were supposed to have. And if you're Florida management, you have to be kind of thinking, wait a minute, so our schedule is being squashed badly because of games that weren't our fault. Because of an incident that takes place with Dallas, then an incident takes place with Carolina. That wasn't our fault, but we're going to get killed on the schedule. This is why the original rumor was that the NHL schedule would have 2 weeks in between the end of the season and the start of the playoffs, with which they could reschedule games, move games around if they needed to. So yeah, for Carolina and the outbreak on the team, apparently this will affect them over the next while, and it's going to affect Florida. And I feel bad for Florida because against Chicago, they won those games. They're off to a 2-0 start. They're going to be like, all right, here we go. Some momentum for Florida. And we're down again. Why are we down again? We didn't have an outbreak. We're good. But, yeah, so we'll see what the NHL does and if any other games get moved around. But I do feel bad for Florida. Not going to lie. David Pastrnak is back on the ice for the Boston Bruins at practice, which will make Bruins fans very happy. He's wearing a non-contact jersey, so he's still a couple of weeks out. He's not going to be back in the short term, but odds are the Bruins might be crossing their fingers, hoping that maybe he'll be back a little bit sooner than they'd hoped, even though the timetable for him to return has moved up from where it initially was, where it was basically middle of February. Now it's early February, so we'll see. The Bruins definitely miss him out there. They miss that finish. They have yet to score a goal 5-on-5 this season after 3 games. So we'll see if the next game's the charm. But there you go. So you guys are all caught up on what's going on to this moment. Odds are there'll probably be another news video tonight. And then there's 5 games tonight, and I'm debating about whether or not to do a board just for the Oilers Maple Leafs game, and then have the board with the 4 games for the other 4, which are starting much later. But we'll see. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.